We don't give a darn for the 47 other states. We're in Nevada now.
Oh, darling. Mommy, will Daddy come to Reno?
No, darling.
Mommy, where is Daddy?
I don't know and I don't care. In the future, you'll please refer to him as that heel.
In 1931, the Nevada legislature decided that only 6 weeks' residence was necessary to qualify for a Nevada divorce. This made divorce almost easy. Disgruntled spouses from around the world were flocking to the biggest little city.
It was probably one of the most cosmopolitan cities you would ever find, because there were people from, not only from the east coming in here, but other parts of the world, actually. Reno was a pretty well-known city, considering that there were only 30 or 35,000 people living here.
Nevada was a mecca, an absolute mecca for the divorce business. There were people who came here from Europe. There were people who came here from Asia. They came, of course, from the eastern United States in the droves, and it became so well known as the divorce capital of the world that movies were made of it, the periodicals ran stories.
Let's all have another little drink here. To Reno, the biggest little city in the world, American cradle of liberty.
Reno, beautiful emblem of the Great Divide.
Yes, get dressed. He's gotta be my witness.
This'll be my 77th time I've witnessed for a divorce. 2 sevens. That's lucky, darling.
Oh, Iz, I hope.
Hollywood jumped on the bandwagon, producing as many as 15 films depicting heartbroken characters taking the cure in Reno. And with almost daily mentions in newspapers across the country and around the world, the name Reno became synonymous with divorce. It was an exciting time in Reno. Among the divorce seekers making the pilgrimage were members of society's elite, the rich and the famous, stars and superstars. From the 1930s through the early 1970s, our impressionable young city was temporary home to such high-profile celebrities as Rita Hayworth, Bobo Rockefeller, Arthur Miller, and Gloria Vanderbilt. Their mere presence brought us national attention. But not all the celebrities wanted to be seen getting renovated. Sometimes, newsmen like Bill Barry had to dig pretty deep for a story.
I broke the story in the Daily News how Arthur Miller was at Pyramid Lake and wooing by long-distance telephone Marilyn Monroe. He was out at Pyramid Lake for a divorce, establishing a divorce residence. He had to get a divorce to marry Marilyn. Now, how did I get a story like that? They had party lines out there, and somebody told me that there was a guy out there calling Los Angeles men for 25 cents on a public telephone, but would then reverse the charges. We found out it was Arthur Miller. And I wired the news. I got the telephone number, and they found out the telephone number was Marilyn Monroe's secret number.
The celebrity divorces were the kind of divorces where you would protect your client from the press. And that included from Bill Barry. God love Bill Barry because he was a very nice man. But you would protect your client as much as you could. Your secretary was instructed never to talk to the press. Never even admit that this particular person was a client of your office.
In those years, a newspaper man could wire collectors. He knew a story coming up for, say, some divorcee from Kalamazoo, Michigan, or someplace. So you'd look up an editor and publish, get the name of a newspaper, and wire them collect. 500 words, so-and-so, divorce coming up.
So you speed down the slope of Aspen. Got a groovy tan at San Tropez. Well, if you want the best, headed on west, Reno has it night and day. You're gonna have fun in snow or in sun in big little Reno. You might take a chance on cards or romance. You gotta try Reno. You can't lose either way. And I'm telling you, chum, Reno's the place to play. Hop on a plane, try the train or a bus. We're the best, we've got it all. We're gonna make sure you have a ball. So pack up your things and give your dream wings to big little Reno. The odds are you'll stay for more than a day. You're gonna love Reno. Why not visit our mountains and lakes? Our shows are top. We've got what it takes to make sure you have fun in snow or in sun in Reno, big little Reno.
To do just about anything. And the memories. Memories of a little town that just couldn't stay out of the limelight for anything. But I guess that's what makes it the biggest little city in the world.
When you've climbed the highest mountain, when a cloud holds the sun shining, suddenly there's a valley where hope and love begin.
In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, Reno was an entertainment paradise. No shortage of things to do. During the day, we golfed, played on the beaches of the most beautiful lake in the world, rode horses in the hills around the valley. But that was only half the fun, because when the sun went down, the curtain went up on the biggest names in show business.
All of the big names from San Francisco to Los Angeles would stop into Reno, play that night just for enough money to keep going, because they were going to Salt Lake, and it was too long jump for them. So we'd stop there, and we had all of the big names here.
The entertainment, we had the very best in the world. You name it, we had them. They were here. A lot of the younger groups that we would watch day in, day out, like Loretta Lynn, Martin Denny, Trini Lopez, Petula Clark. They hit it big after the lounge acts.
There were so many good shows and good acts going on in those days that you just took your pick who you wanted to go see, and they were either in town or they were coming to town soon. It was very easy in those days because highballs were 35 cents. You didn't need reservations to go and see a famous act. At the Calneva, you'd just go in and if you wanted to go to dinner, and there were always tables available. You didn't have to wait. You didn't have to wait at the bar or anything. You'd just go up and tell the maitre d' you wanted a nice table, wanted to see the show and have dinner. And it was very easy getting in.
In the good old days, we'd play our shows and then usually go downtown and catch the Mary Kay Trio or the Harry James Band. And you could do this for the price of a drink there at Harris Club. Of course, it varied. You know, the single guys could do that. Married guys, after the gig was over, you know, they went right home.
just a lot of activity going on. We had a lot of customers roaming the streets. There were just many places to use up all those customers, all those bodies. Today, there's so many casinos spreading out the customer base. But in the 50s and 60s, the entertainment just was a tremendous catalyst to bring a happy atmosphere into the town. It was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my life in the 50s and 60s and 70s in Reno. It was an exciting town, a very active town.
People lined up, and the showrooms, for the most part, weren't big enough to handle as big a name as these people were. So guess what? They had lots of shows. You kept people here for quite a while. Then you, of course, when you booked in somebody, like George Goebel, he was here for 3 or 4 weeks because he couldn't do it all in one show. You couldn't have all of the people that wanted to see it at one time.
During those years, we had more work than we had musicians, and we had 500 musicians in town. The greatest musicians, I think, in the world. People from studio musicians used to come up here because this was actually the entertainment capital, and we had entertainment galore.
Do you remember those beautiful showrooms? And each had its own house band.
Mapes, Riverside, then Harris Club, and then the Nugget, Harris up the lake, the Sahara up the lake. I believe there was one on the North Shore, too. It was great times, you know. We worked steady, and those were some of the best days in the music business.
But we experienced a growth then in the Star era, I think, of having very major names in the whole community, and I think that attracted a lot of people and made people aware that Reno indeed was a major destination point.
In those years, we watched some of the biggest names in the business come through town. Many became regulars, members of our community. For them, playing Reno was like a working vacation. And they loved visiting Reno for the same reasons that we loved living here.
It's a very lovely community, and Lake Tahoe, again, is an hour away from where we are. It's a very pretty community, and that had a lot to do, I think, with the types of entertainment we were able to get at that time.
I remember Rowan and Martin were very good friends of mine. They used to come in the store and feel at home. They used to sit on the counter and tell me stories, and they were very clever. Jerry Lewis used to come in and buy pants to play golf in. One time I got a kick out of Jerry Lewis. He walked around the store and he picked out a pair of jeans. And he said, "Mr. Parker, I'll take all of those you have in my size." And he didn't know that I had some more in the basement. They had 23 pair. So he took them all, believe it or not.
Another memory I'm kind of fond of is Carol Channing, her first booking at the Nugget, and she said, "I just love this hotel, this casino, the audience, and everything else. And it's so much nicer than Las Vegas. You have fresh air here, and so on." Well, I picked up on that, and I had a package made for Carol with fresh air from Reno that she could take to Vegas. And I said, "Carol, you're not going to make a lot of friends in Las Vegas, you know, knocking them like it." She said, "That's okay. I appreciate the fresh air." So that box is full of fresh air.
And they liked to come back to Reno. This was they loved it. And not all of that, they had the best accommodations. They had the suites. Bill Harrah even had a house for the entertainers if they had a family. And they also had the access to a Rolls Royce. Where could you beat that? Not very many places would give you that kind of treatment. Yeah.